Then she mounted a rostrum and faced them. "I am," she stated, 183 years old. Is there anyone here who is older?" No one spoke. After a decent wait, she went on. "Then, in accordance with our customs, I declare this meeting opened. Will you choose a moderator?" Someone said, "Go ahead, Mary." When no one else spoke up, she said, "Very well." She seemed indifferent to the honor, and the group seemed to share her casual attitude, an air of never any hurry, of freedom from the tension of modern life. "We are met as usual," she announced, "to discuss our welfare and that of our sisters and brothers. Does any family representative have a message from his family? Or does anyone care to speak for himself?" A man caught her eye and spoke up. "Ira Weatherall, speaking for the Johnson family. We've met nearly 2 months early. The trustees must have a reason. Let's hear it." She nodded and turned to a prim little man in the first row. "Justin, if you will, please." The prim little man stood up and bowed stiffly. Skinny legs stuck out below his badly cut kilt. He looked and acted like an elderly, dusty civil servant, but his black hair and the firm, healthy tone of his skin said that he was a man in his prime. "Justin Foote," he said precisely, "reporting for the trustees. It has been 11 years since the families decided on the experiment of letting the public know that there were, living among them, persons who possessed a probable life expectancy far in excess of that anticipated by the average man, as well as other persons who had proved the scientific truth of such expectation by having lived more than twice the normal lifespan of human beings." Although he spoke without notes, he sounded as if he were reading aloud a prepared report. What he was saying they all knew, but no one hurried him. His audience had none of the febrile impatience so common elsewhere. "In deciding," he droned on, "to reverse the previous long-standing policy of silence and concealment as to the peculiar aspect in which we differ from the balance of the human race, the families were moved by several considerations. The reason for the original adoption of the policy of concealment should be noted. The first offspring resulting from unions assisted by the Howard Foundation were born in 1875. They aroused no comment, for they were in no way remarkable. The foundation was an openly chartered, non-profit corporation." On March 17, 1874, Ira Johnson, medical student, sat in the law offices of Deems, Wingate, Alden, and Deems, and listened to an unusual proposition. At last he interrupted the senior partner. "Just a moment. Do I understand that you are trying to hire me to marry one of these women?" The lawyer looked shocked. "Please, Mr. Johnson, not at all." "Well, it certainly sounded like it." No, such a contract would be void against public policy. We are simply informing you, as administrators of a trust, that should it come about that you do marry one of the young ladies on this list, it would then be our pleasant duty to endow each child of such a union according to the scale here set forth. But there would be no contract with us involved, nor is there any proposition being made to you. And we certainly do not urge any course of action on you. We are simply informing you of certain facts." Ira Johnson scowled and shuffled his feet. "What's it all about? Why?" "That is the business of the foundation. One might put it that we approve of your grandparents." "Have you discussed me with them?" Johnson said sharply. He felt no affection for his grandparents. A tight-fisted foursome, if any one of them had had the grace to die at a reasonable age, he would not now be worried about money enough to finish medical school. "We have talked with them, yes, but not about you." The lawyer shut off further discussion, and young Johnson accepted gracelessly a list of young women, all strangers, with the intention of tearing it up the moment he was outside the office. Instead, that night he wrote 7 drafts before he found the right words in which to start cooling off the relation between himself and his girl back home. He was glad that he had never actually popped the question to her. It would have been deucedly awkward.